Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Rendezvous with Anzar Saqib at CXO Global TV. CXO Global Forum is a knowledge-sharing platform for all C-levels across Pakistan and the globe. Today, we've got yet another very interesting guest, Mr. Shayan Mahmood, who has joined us. We're very lucky to have had some time with us. He is a young gentleman, but he has achieved quite a bit. He is not only the CEO for Trademore, he's also the managing partner at Icon 7 and the chief brand officer at the very famous Pro Pakistani. Shayan, good to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Nana, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's been an honor to have you here. Let's begin with your journey so far. So where did you go to school? How did you end up being where you are? What's your journey all about?
So I went to school here in Islamabad, and then I went for university to England. A part of my university degree was to learn another language and spend a year in another country. So I went to China. I learned Mandarin. And another part of my degree was to do internships. So I did internships in different places. And the last place I sort of ended up was Bucharest in Romania. And over there, just over dinner, I actually met this couple called Gabriel and Irina. They're a lot older than me. And then we started talking, and they told me about what they do, advertising, branding. I didn't know anything about it. And at the time, the film that I was working on required an advertising company. And we started interviewing for companies in Pakistan. And I had Gabby and Irina sit in on the interviews because I didn't know how to sort of judge them.
Wow.
And then they started telling me, oh, you know, this is lacking in Pakistan, this is what we could do together, etc. And they're like, why don't we open an advertising agency in Pakistan? And I was like, look, I'm going to go back to university and I haven't graduated yet, so I'll see when I graduate. So after I graduated, I moved back, I thought about it. We sort of opened with 3-4 interns, a couple of full-time employees, and that's sort of how Icon 7 started. And then a couple of years into Icon 7, I was approached by a family friend in the embassy in China, and they said that Alibaba was looking for channel partners in Pakistan and that you should bid and see what happens. So we bid. It was a long process, 6-8 months. We got selected, and that was sort of how Trademore started. And then a couple of years after that, we were looking to get into the digital PR space. We had worked with Pro Pakistani. I had been a client of Pro Pakistani for a while, and they always did really good work. I had never had the pleasure of meeting Amr before we partnered, but yeah, it just seemed like a great business to be involved in. And I just asked him, you know, do you want to partner with us? And that's one thing led to another, and then there was a whole merger element to it. We had a few other partners come in, and alhamdulillah, it's going well. We all work together now, one building, and hoping to grow it from here.
So what I've gauged from your conversation, a lot of your success is reliant upon the fact that one, life gives you all these chances and opportunities that you should always take up on. Second, you've benefited from business matchmaking quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I think CXO is also interesting for me, because it's a lot of serendipity and a lot of things just sort of happen sometimes, and you just have to, if there's an opportunity, a door opens, you should try and see where it goes.
You should go for it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think a lot of young people that are watching this will definitely take a hint from here. Shayan, you're also the managing partner at Icon 7. You know, we know how the company came about, but what would you accredit its success to here in Pakistan? Because, you know, this is a Hungarian company that essentially you brought here.
Yeah, Romanian.
Romanian, sorry.
No problem. So, I don't know. I think we were, if I'm being honest with you, I think we were very lucky in some ways. We were lucky in that the first team that we got together were all young, same age as me. We were all working our first jobs as well, so we were working a little harder maybe than other people. And the market was also evolving. It was a time where sort of people were looking for a different kind of advertising, an edgier type of content. They were looking for something a little more, I don't know if it was westernized or it's just different. And so we were, you know, right place, right time, but also a lot of that goes to, so the first team that we had is all still around. The first 5-6 employees, they call themselves the originals. So the originals are still around, and the originals had a big part to play in it. I mean, I knew nothing about design. So the first designers we had, the first videographers we had, the first copywriters we had a major role. And then obviously my partners Gabriel and Irina had over 20 years of experience. So that also brought a lot of stature to the organization at a very early age.
So being a part of Icon 7, it must have been an interesting journey. However, since you have a lot of experience with advertising and digital marketing in particular, how has the journey been so far for creating the right kind of narrative for a polarized market like Pakistan? Because you could be selling soap one day and the next day you could be selling corporate services.
I think being in a polarized market is a good thing. At the end of the day, marketing isn't about your product, it's more about the values and what you believe in. So in a polarized market, you just have to find someone who believes in the same things as you and then make sure. So if you can find the right target market and your message is clear and your values are clear, you will find those people who want to buy your particular soap or your particular, whatever product it might be. It's just about finding the right customer. And I think Pakistan has a very divided sort of community, which is a good thing. That means that you have different kinds of products for different kinds of people and different kinds of values for different kinds of people, and that works.
When we talk about influencer marketing, now that's a buzzword that's come up recently. When you talk about digital marketing, now the new buzzword is people don't want to go towards conventional marketing strategies, and billboards have been replaced by influencers. It's all about who has the most followers and everything. What is your personal opinion on influencer marketing and how strong a message can it send out?
I think it's the future. Honestly, I think that, and I'll be honest with you, we're trying to get as much involvement in that space as we can, because it is the future. People, as TV will take a backseat and internet will take sort of the forefront of what people consume their time on, people don't want direct advertising. They don't want to be shown a soap commercial. They want to hear someone talk about it, and that also someone specific with a certain knowledge base about something. So it's not about just followers, it's about that person's content curation, ability to understand a certain topic. And influencers are going to have massive impact on the advertising world as we go forward. What they're doing now is replacing not just celebrities, but they're also replacing the way you purchase things, the way you form opinions about things. So they're the future. There's no doubt about that.
It's very interesting that you mentioned them helping consumers form opinions, because one thing that we've noticed in the recent years with social media in particular is that influencers, and since you're associated with PR and brand awareness as well, we see that influencers can also have a negative impact on a product or a service.
Of course.
And sometimes a lot of people do misuse their, let's say, power and clout in social media.
Of course.
Have you experienced something of the sort?
Honestly, with certain brands that we work for, certain things such as that have happened. But you have to understand, and I think it's important that you don't look at influencers as agencies. So agencies like myself, our interest is the customer. The influencer, his interest is his audience. He has to be loyal to the audience. So we can't expect him to always say good things. You should understand that he's more an artist than he is a business person. So, and that is what makes them unique and special. So we shouldn't be worried about these things. This is going to happen. People are going to have opinions, and you're going to have to respect everybody's opinion. And some of it is going to be bad for you, and some of it is going to be good for you.
That's brilliant. I appreciate the empathy that you've brought to the table. So Shayan, one thing that we noticed with the last year, fortunately or unfortunately, we all had to deal with the pandemic. And for some businesses, things panned out well. For some, not so great. But one thing that was common was that everyone learned a lot. How did the pandemic affect your line of work? And was there any firefighting that you had to do? Was there a learning curve?
Definitely, there was a lot of those things. So like I said, we're involved in a couple of businesses. Some thrived during COVID, some suffered. For example, production is a big part of what we do. I was off for about 6 months at least. We couldn't shoot large-scale commercials or documentaries because of the pandemic. So there was good and there was bad, and it was all around sort of worked out well, but there was challenges. As far as what you learned, I mean, the adjustment was difficult. Being able to, work remotely, work online, motivate your teams. And we had a lot of people we hired during the pandemic, so they'd never seen the office, they'd never met any of us. So it was really challenging in that sense, because you don't build that office environment and that culture without actually physically being in the same room. But I think it also taught us a lot, or at least me a lot, about how much time we waste in this office. Pointless meetings, unnecessary things that we're doing. So a lot of, I think, COVID is time management. You realize how much time you have if you're fully dedicated to something, and also how much technology can help and make things faster, easier.
So we do know that you're also the CEO of TradeMore. Mashallah, there's barely anyone who doesn't know what Alibaba.com does. And that in itself is a big achievement, not just for you as a person, but for Pakistan as well. What are the future prospects? What all can we expect? What's exciting and what's happening there?
So Alibaba views us as a key market for the next 5 years. After India, China itself, the US, it puts us in the second category, which is a very, very big thing. We have tremendous manufacturing potential in Pakistan, and right now, year on year, we've got an office in Sialkot, in Karachi, here in Islamabad as well, and we're helping manufacturers come on to Alibaba and trade globally. And you realize how many things we produce, how many things we're sort of market leaders on, and how much potential there is in the sort of manufacturing and industrialist environment of Pakistan. And especially Sialkot for me has been phenomenal. Just looking at how that city works and how those people are, the entrepreneurial spirit of young kids over there, and just generally, I mean, it's amazing how many things we're exporting now, and the future prospects. I think this is a very key part, not just on Alibaba, Amazon or whatever else that we use to trade. I feel like in the future, TradeMore's goal is to help, like the name suggests, you trade more. But I think there's a lot of future for Pakistani manufacturers. I mean, the things that we're making, I'll give you an example, like there's your textile and your leather and your normal things. But for example, there are dentures for horses. We're one of the global exporters of that. Now you wouldn't even think of things like that.
Absolutely, I wouldn't even know about something like
exactly. that. Exactly, it's amazing. Dry fruit. I mean, random things that we're exporting and doing a really good job, and leading the market. Because we see as Alibaba's partners the back end of where we're sort of doing well and where we aren't. It's quite impressive, the numbers.
I keep reading about drop shipping, and that's really coming up as a market. Do you see any potential for Pakistan in that regard?
Yes, but I do still think that generally e-commerce, if we're talking locally, so not exporting, if we're talking locally and we're talking drop shipping, payment gateways need to be better, logistical support. This is not to say that it won't be. I think in a few years we'll be there, but it'll take a little bit of time.
It'll take a bit
before
of time.
We're fully e-commerce centric.
Okay, Shayan, so this is something that I'm very excited about. You're going to be one of the first people who I'm going to try the rapid fire round on.
I'm very nervous about this, okay?
Don't be nervous. So, ladies and gentlemen, the rapid fire round is going to be something where I'm going to ask Shayan, I'm going to drop a few names, and you're going to tell me in one word replies the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Right? Ganji swag.
Intelligent. I think he's very smart. Yeah.
Wheeler Sound Station.
Catchy.
Ali Gulpir.
Funny, hilarious.
Paid promotions.
Important.
Now, either or.
Okay.
Billboards or Google Ads?
Google Ads.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Your pet peeve?
I hate voice notes. By anyone, I generally just don't like them.
Sensational news or responsible journalism?
Responsible journalism is more important, but we live in we're storytellers, so we live in a sensational world, and you have to stay with the times. So I think sensational journalism.
Thank you so much, Shayan, for your time.
All right.
I'm going to ask you one last question, and no, it's not. Don't get scared. It's not a rapid fire round question, but it's been an honor and a privilege speaking with you.
No, it was great. It was great.
How has being a part of CXO Global changed your life or impacted your life?
I think that even though I'm very new to CXO Global, it's been a great experience so far, and I think this is really important. Collaboration is going to be critical, and it's going to be key for any of us. Companies to grow, for Pakistan to do better. So I'm really enjoying being a part of this community, and I think that this community can work with each other. Like you gave the example earlier, it's connecting people, working together. That's the future. That's how you'll grow into, multi-billion-dollar businesses, and that's what we all want to do. So I think CXO will play a big part in that.
Absolutely. Like Shayan said, ladies and gentlemen, ending on that note, together, everyone achieves more. That is what a team is. Thank you so much for your time. We will be joining you once again with another guest. Shayan, thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you very much.